Yes, generic drugs are picking up. Let's start with the government's JanAushadhi scheme, which sells generic drugs at 50 to 90% cheaper rates, has over 9,000 centers. It grew 38% in FY23, 54% CAGR in the past 5 years, and has garnered 4.2% volume in the Indian pharma market. Similarly, trade generics, the generic division of pharma companies, currently enjoys a 20% volume, at least 5 to 6% value share in the Indian pharma market, and is currently growing around 500 basis points more than its branded counterparts. For example, Cipla, which is the largest player in the trade generic segment, is generating around 50 crores of sales from 8 of their drugs in the portfolio. Alkem is a significant player, while Torrent is looking to scale up too. And well-established companies with deep pockets such as Dr. Reddy's have also thrown their hat in the ring by launching a dedicated division, RGenX, earlier this year. While pharmacies such as MedPlus2 have announced the launch of their own generic drugs in their pharmacies. The USP of a generic drug is that they are cheaper, as much as 90%. For example, a strip of paracetamol costs as little as around 7 rupees in a government-run store, 8 to 9 rupees in an online unbranded generic, and up to 40 to 70 rupees when it comes to a branded version. These price differences have seen savings of as much as 6,000 crores for Indian patients in a year. The main reason the drug costs less is because there are no marketing or promotion costs. The lower costs allows companies to gain share across Tier 2 to Tier 6 and rural markets and provide better margins across the supply chain. For example, a distributor of generic drug is incentivized as margins of a trade generic can go up to 50 to 70% versus a branded generic which is capped at 8 to 20%. Now, analysts expect generic drugs to only see a further fillip with the focus on quality, which has been a worry for generic drugs and the government pushing adoption. For example, all JanAushadhi drugs are procured from WHO GMP certified suppliers and tested at certified labs, while the established pharma companies use the same quality standards to manufacture trade generics as they do for their branded generics. And as for growth, all central government hospitals have the diktat to prescribe only generic medicines, while doctors have been encouraged to write generic drug names. The government is planning to further increase reach by expanding its generic drug stock count to 25,000 and the number of drugs it sells as well. Pharma companies fear generic substitution eating into branded generic sales. And as pharma companies look to compete, analysts expect lower blended margins despite higher volumes. The fear is also possible cannibalization of the company's own branded portfolios. Lastly, do watch for a few trends emerging in the generic drug space. These include the increase of generic drugs for chronic conditions. JanAushadhi, for example, sees a high traction in diabetic, cardiovascular, and anti-infective drugs. And to conclude, perceptions of quality, which is critical to more adoption.